boundaries. And so obviously, if this is going on and a perpetual care cemetery, you've obviously, there's strong feelings on those. Those are where people's loved ones are buried. And throughout our state, we've got some where owners just aren't keeping up with those. This language, without adding any penalties, because there are penalties allowed under other instances for fines and things like that, this does not add any penalties. Instead, what this does is it allows the county or the municipality to petition the Secretary of State to use funds from that cemetery's trust account. And when I say funds, I'm going to, if I can, Mr. Chairman, explain an amendment I think is appropriate for the bill at this time.
That's fine.
Okay, so currently the bill that's in front of you would allow for these funds to come from principal or accrued interest of those trust funds. The amendment that I would propose would state that the amounts can only come from accrued interest of the trust fund. Therefore, the principal is not touched under this instance. These trust funds, if you're not accustomed to what they're used for, these trust funds are essentially used for what we're using them for here. But so again, this would just allow for interest. The amendment I propose, if you look at line 116, where it says it starts cemetery trust fund to release, I would recommend we strike principal, the words principal or, and replace them with from. And then on the next line of 117, where it says the trust, I propose adding two words after trust and amount. So let me read it as it would read as amended. On line 113 at subsection A, any county performing maintenance or repair pursuant to this subsection may make application to the Secretary of State for an order directing the trustee of the Perpetual Care Cemetery Trust Fund to release from accrued interest of the trust an amount sufficient to reimburse only actual cleanup costs incurred. Again, I want to stress the fact that these have to be made as an application to the Secretary of State. I'm sorry, let me finish my amendment first, if I may, Mr. Chairman. If you'll look at line 129, you've got subparagraph C there. That entire subparagraph C is stricken because that just deals with taking monies from principal. To continue my amendment, the same thing will be done under the municipal part of the code, and it's essentially the exact same amendments. Starting at line 402, you would strike the line principal or and include the word from. And then at the end of that line, after the word trust, it would say an amount. And it would read exactly the same, but whereas the previous section dealt with counties, this deals with municipalities. And then on line 414, starting on line 414, that entire subsection C is stricken. Carrying the same amendment forward for the same reason, if you'll look at line 450, we are striking the word either, and then we're also striking the phrase or trust principal. So to read that, it would say after the comma on 448, it says any municipality or county may also make application to the Secretary of State for an order directing the trustee to release trust interest for reimbursement to the county or municipality. So that would be my simple amendment to this, to take out any opportunity for principal funds from the trust to be used and only interest to be used, if that's a motion that the committee would like to make.
And so I recognize Senator Barrett at this time, if Senator Barrett wants to make that amendment to the actual bill. Okay, Senator McClendon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Senator England. If we could go back to line 101. Where it says become detrimental to the public health and welfare. You're talking about grass growing up with mosquitoes, possibly infestation of rodents, whatnot.
That's right. And as a matter of fact, from lines 99 on through the end, or the first period of line 106, actually defines what that phrase means as far as perpetual care cemetery means. But yes, that would be a good example. Yes.
Any other questions? Senator McCollum?
Question about the amendment. Senator England, you're my best friend's a mortician, and he's got approved both of this bill. My question now is, what happens if we don't have the interest to cover said charges?
Well, then this would not be triggered. The family members and those that have loved ones or friends buried, they would not be able to use this section to get anything done. So, and look, I will admit that that's going to be an issue, but look, some of these cemeteries don't even have principal in their trust. So they're in that much disrepair, but this is at least a step in the right direction to help some of these individuals that may find that they've got an owner that's just not responding. It's a step to start helping clean up some of these perpetual care cemeteries.
And would this in any way hinder the Secretary of State from stepping in and taking over these institutions if they get dilapidated and they can't find? I've seen that happen here in our state several times already.
Yes, it does not. And as a matter of fact, I've seen several of these cemeteries come into receivership and they go under the county and the city. And so, yes, that's still available as an option. And look, one important thing that I do want to point out, and this may be off the amendment, I'm not sure, but I'll go ahead and I think it addresses the question. We did not want to penalize a property owner. And we did not want to run into an instance where a city or a county was using taxpayer dollars to do this. So if this interest is not available, then this remedy would essentially not be available. And the fact that they still have to go through the petition process through the Secretary of State, the reason that was left in is quite frankly so that the cities and the counties don't see this as a paycheck, 2 times a month cutting grass every 2 weeks in the summer or something like that. That's not what this is for. So that's it's got the safeguards on it, and it also leaves the principal alone under this bill.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Senator Super.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This applies only to perpetual care cemeteries.
That's correct.
So any other, if it's not classified as perpetual care, it's not going to apply.
That's correct. This is only perpetual care cemeteries. Now, the rest of the code that's already there, we're not amending that. So if it's a property that's not being properly maintained under the other part of the code, that's fine. This just applies to perpetual care cemeteries.
Appreciate it.
Any other question? Senator Barrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'd make a motion that the amendment be well received.
Okay, and Senator Barrett has made a motion to amend the bill to delete and to conform the proposed bill to delete everywhere where it actually has principle. And the main point is so that we don't take away the principle or the corpus of the trust. And upon petition of a municipality or a county to upkeep these perpetual care cemeteries, they should only be petitioning the interests for the stated purpose. Any other questions on the actual amendment? Second by Senator McCollum. Any questions on the amendment? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a question. Senator Norwood. Senator Norwood, you recognize?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question was answered. That's fine.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Do I have a motion on the bill at this time?
Mr. Chairman, I have one small clerical amendment that I'd like to point out.
All right, go ahead, Senator England.
Under line 108, on line 108, after the word, where it says condition to be, the word not should be included after the word be. It's included in the other part of the bill. So I believe it's just a clerical mistake. It should say it's then conditioned to be not properly maintained.
That's fine. Keeler, you got that? All right. No, that's we need a motion on that. All right. Yes, we need a motion.
I'll make that motion. Mr. Chairman.
Senator Barrett makes that technical amendment to the bill, and it's seconded by Senator McCollum. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now, Titus Fish do pass committee sub is the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The next bill we have is Senate Bill 2605, the golf carts. Thank you, Senator England.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee.
Golf carts and low-speed vehicle. We actually had this bill last year. It passed the Senate. It went over to the House. It actually died a silent death in the House, and so we're trying to do it again. The concern regarding the golf cart legislation is year after year, many members will ask for local and private legislation to allow golf carts. And so this bill is supported by MML, and basically what it does, it allows cities to basically to have that authorization, and cities could basically set it up if they decide to authorize the operation of these vehicles in their particular municipalities. And so section 1 is a definition section. It defines golf carts and low speed vehicles. The speed is between 20 and 25 miles per hour. Section 2 grants the municipality the authority to authorize the operation of such vehicles only on public roads and streets designated by ordinance. It may not be operated on state highways or federal highways that are not interstate highways. The driver must have in possession a valid driver's ID and proof of financial responsibility. The driver must drive in outside lanes on multi-lane streets and roads where applicable. Section 3 of the bill requires every golf cart and low-speed vehicle that is operated under this act to be registered with the city for a reasonable fee. That's at line 41. The owner will receive a decal by the county or the municipal tax collector that must be displayed on the left rear fender of the vehicle. Registration is valid as long as the owner owns the vehicle at lines 50 and 51, and the city shall provide a registrant a map of the areas where the vehicle may be operated, and that's at lines 52 and 54. Section 4 deals with section 2719.3 is amended. It adds golf carts and low-speed vehicles to the definition of motor vehicle. That's at lines 79 through 80. It breaks down categories under the definition of private carrier of property at line 202. Section 5 amends section 2751.5. It adds golf carts and low-speed vehicles to definition of motor vehicle at lines 302 and 303. Section 6 references section 6317.155, and it adds golf carts and low-speed vehicles to the definition of motor vehicle at lines 353 through 354. The effective date of the bill is July 1st, 2021. At this time, do you have any questions?
I do have one, Mr. Chairman.
Senator McCollum?
This is only going to be for municipalities. This isn't allowing counties to do the same for subdivisions and things of that nature. Because I got mixed up there. You mentioned county had lower taxes than the city, so I was just trying to clarify.
And so the bill, Senator McCollum, is not amending any county sections. I mean, I do understand some local and privates that have passed in previous sections dealt with counties.
Yes.
But this bill deals with municipalities.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Senator Norwood, you recognize.
now this bill, every year we have passed legislation for cities to allow us to happen. Now, will this bill reconcile all of those that we have already passed to package it into this legislation? Because my thinking is that some of those that we passed, were they all of the passed with the same requirements?
Senator Norwood, I can't really answer that. I know that in previous years, those local and private bills were at the request of those local authorities, whether it was those county boards of supervisors, and we dealt with them through the process. And from my understanding, Senator Norwood, and from what I recall, they were just that, allowing golf carts to be used and operated in those particular local and private areas. But this bill, supported by MML, is trying to establish a process where any municipality will be allowed to do it if that city council or board decides to do it. And these are the steps and the rules that they will actually have to go by if they decide to do it. And so that's what we actually put in the statute.
So there could be some challenges as far as enforcement, because if the ones that we have, the one that we have passed may not be at the same standard level of standards that what's being proposed now, because this is going to be uniform. So would that create any potential problem?
Uh, potentially, Senator Wood. Yes, sir. Potentially. Um, because this process, as I understand it, is being set for the municipalities, and if a local and private bill has passed and it's being allowed in a particular county area, and the rules are different than, of course, the way the county sheriffs decide to regulate that, may very well be different than what the city police may how they may regulate it in a particular municipality. So, very very good question, but that potential is there. Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think that, I guess my concern could probably be addressed. We can get an answer and address it potentially on the floor.
Thank you, Senator Wilson.
Because my concern, you may have 2 or 3 neighboring counties, neighboring cities that could be following different rules, and it could create a problem with enforcement. But I don't, it's not to the point where I think that, if there are, I can get my concerns answered from the floor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The attorney, Senator Noble, said she will look into it because by passing this law, it may supersede anything that already has passed or existed prior to this law becoming effective. So she said she's going to look into that, and hopefully we'll get an answer before we bring it up on the floor, Senator Norwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator McClain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first time this was brought up in committee, I'm not sure that golf carts were, the motor vehicle definition was in that, and I made a statement about insurance. More than likely, insurance is going to have to be purchased for this individual, not automobile, but for golf cart, for liability purposes. Depends on each carrier, could be different, but I just want to make that statement, clarify that.
What the actual language says, proof of financial responsibility. And I know you did raise that question, Senator McClain, when Sherry Vesey with Mississippi Municipal League was here. Attorney, do we know, because my understanding that the proof of financial responsibility was the proof that you own it, and it did not say that it actually had to have actual insurance. She said she'll look it up and get clarification on that, but our understanding at this point is that it does not require proof of insurance, but proof of financial responsibility.
Okay, thank you, because just to make sure the uninsured motorist state law, since we're adding vehicle, into the vehicle definition. So, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, do we have a motion? Title Fish do pass. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? All right. So, Senators, that's all we have. If you have any burning bills that were referred to municipalities, please let me know. Tomorrow is the deadline for all bills to pass out of committee. I know we had a lot of bills that were double referred, and so please get with me to let me know if you have something that you feel like we just absolutely have to do this year. If not, thank you all for working under the conditions that we've had to work under this year. And if we don't meet again, we'll start meeting once the House bills come over. Do I hear a motion to rise and report?